"You're in great danger. Pretend I'm your dad," Hell's Angel whispered to her ear. "Stay with me on this story, because what happened next will surprise you. Listen, I need you to imagine something for a second. You're standing at the back of a church in your perfect white dress, the one you spent months searching for. Your heart is pounding, but it's not the good kind of pounding. It's the kind that makes your hands shake and your breath catch in your throat. Everyone you love is sitting in those wooden pews, smiling at you like this is the happiest day of your life. But deep down, you know something is wrong. You just can't figure out what it is." That's exactly where Maya Carson found herself on what should have been the best Saturday of her entire life. 27 years old, wearing her grandmother's pearl necklace, holding a bouquet of white roses and baby's breath that cost more than her first car. The organ music started playing that traditional wedding march, and everyone stood up, turning to look at her with those expectant, teary-eyed smiles. And Maya, she wanted to run. But here's the thing about moments like these. When you've already sent the invitations, bought the dress, booked the venue, when 200 people have flown in from all over the country to watch you marry the man you've been with for 3 years, running feels impossible. So instead, you smile. You tell yourself that cold feeling in your stomach is just nerves, just normal wedding day jitters. Except it wasn't. The church doors opened wider, and Maya took her first step onto that long white runner stretched down the aisle. Her best friend Jenna, the maid of honor, gave her an encouraging nod from the front. Her mother dabbed at her eyes with a tissue in the third row. And there, standing at the altar in his perfectly tailored navy suit, was Ethan Crawford, her fiancé, the man she was about to promise her entire life to. He was smiling at her. It was the same look he'd given her last week when she suggested keeping her own bank account after the wedding. The same look when she mentioned wanting to visit her college roommate in Oregon. That flash of something cold hiding behind his charming smile. Maya's grip tightened on her bouquet until her knuckles went white. She was halfway down the aisle when it happened. A commotion at the back of the church. Whispers rippling through the crowd like a stone dropped in still water. Maya's steps faltered. She turned her head slightly and saw him. A man pushing through the church doors. But not just any man. This guy was massive, probably 6'3", with shoulders that barely fit through the doorframe. He wore a black leather vest over a dark shirt, and even in the soft church lighting, the skull, the wings, the words that made everyone in the church suck in a collective breath. Hell's Angels. He was a biker, a member of one of the most notorious motorcycle clubs in the country, and he was walking straight toward her. Maya's heart stopped. Actually stopped. Her first instinct was fear, because isn't that what we're taught? But then something absolutely insane happened. The biker walked right up beside her, his heavy boots barely making a sound on the church floor despite his size. He had gray streaking through his dark beard, and his face was weathered like old leather, lined with years of sun and hard living. He looked like he'd seen things, done things, and then he leaned down, close to her ear, and his voice came out rough and urgent and absolutely terrifying in its sincerity. "You're in danger," he whispered. "Pretend I'm your dad." Time didn't just slow down, it shattered. Maya's brain couldn't process what was happening. This stranger, this biker, was standing next to her at her own wedding, telling her to pretend he was her father who had died 5 years ago from a heart attack, her father who she missed every single day, her father who was supposed to walk her down this aisle and wasn't here. And now this man was standing in his place. The logical part of Maya's brain screamed at her to run, to call for help, to do something. But there was another part, a quieter part. Listen to him. So she did. Maya didn't pull away. She let this stranger, this Hell's Angel in his leather vest with his graying beard and his calloused hands, rest his palm against her arm, just like a father would, just like her father used to. And together, they started walking toward the altar. The church exploded in confused whispers. Heads turned. People stood up to get a better look. Maya's mother looked absolutely horrified, her hand pressed against her chest. Jenna's mouth had fallen open in shock, and Ethan's perfect smile had vanished. His face had gone dark, not confused, not surprised, angry. That's when Maya knew, with absolute bone-deep certainty, that whatever this biker was warning her about, it was real. "Keep walking," the man said quietly, his voice steady and calm despite the chaos erupting around them. "Don't look at him. Just keep walking with me." "Who are you?" Maya managed to whisper, her voice shaking so badly she barely recognized it. "Name's Jackson Monroe," he said, guiding her forward with a gentle but firm hand. "But everyone calls me Jax. And I know this seems crazy, darlin', but I need you to trust me for about 5 more minutes. Can you do that?" Maya's legs felt like they might give out. She could see Ethan at the altar now, clear as day. He'd stepped forward off the platform, his jaw clenched, his hands balled into fists at his sides. The minister stood frozen, holding his little book, looking between Ethan and the approaching biker like he was watching a car accident happen in slow motion. "I don't understand," Maya breathed. "What danger? What are you?" "I'll explain everything," Jax interrupted gently. "But right now, I need you to stay with me. Don't let him pull you away. Don't go to him, no matter what he says." They reached the altar. Ethan's face was a mask of barely controlled rage. Maya had never seen him like this, not even close. In 3 years together, he'd always been so charming, so considerate. Sure, he had his moments of being controlling, but he always explained it away as caring too much, loving too hard. Now she was seeing something else entirely. "What the hell is this?" Ethan's voice cut through the church like a knife. He wasn't even trying to hide his anger anymore. "Who the hell are you? This is a private ceremony. Get out." Jax didn't flinch. He positioned himself slightly in front of Maya, creating a wall between her and Ethan with his body. When he spoke, his voice was low and measured, but there was steel underneath it. "I'm an old family friend," Jax said calmly. "Maya's father and I go way back. She asked me to walk her down the aisle. That was a lie, a complete fabrication." Maya's mind was racing. She wanted to ask 1,000 questions. She wanted to know what danger he was talking about. She wanted to understand why this was happening now, at her wedding, in front of everyone she knew. But she stayed quiet, because that voice inside her. Ethan's eyes flicked to Maya, and she saw it again. That flash of something predatory. "Maya, baby," his voice shifted, becoming softer, more manipulative. "Come here. I don't know who this guy is, but this is our day. Come stand with me." He reached out his hand. Maya looked at it like it was a snake. "She's fine where she is," Jax said firmly. "I wasn't talking to you," Ethan snapped, his mask slipping further. Then back to Maya, sickeningly sweet. "Sweetheart, please. You're embarrassing us. Come here." Embarrassing. That word hit Maya like a slap. How many times had Ethan used that word? How many times had he made her feel like her feelings, her concerns, her instincts were just her being dramatic or embarrassing? The church had gone deathly quiet, 200 people holding their breath, watching this scene unfold like it was a movie. Maya's mother stood up. "Maya, honey, what's going on? Who is this man?" Before Maya could answer, before anyone could say anything, Jax did something that changed everything. He turned to face the crowd, his back to Ethan, his body still shielding Maya. When he spoke, his voice carried through the entire church, clear and commanding. "I apologize for the disruption, folks. But there's something y'all need to know before this ceremony continues. You have no right." Ethan started. Moving forward, Jax held up one hand, and something about that simple gesture made Ethan freeze. Maybe it was the quiet authority in Jax's posture. Maybe it was the way 3 other men in leather vests had quietly appeared at the back of the church, arms crossed, watching. Maybe it was the sudden realization that this wasn't just some random interruption. This was intentional. Last night, Jax continued, his voice steady, I was at Mickey's bar downtown. Anyone know it? A few confused nods from the crowd. I was sitting there having a beer, minding my business, when I overheard a conversation at the pool table. Group of guys, drunk, talking loud the way drunk people do. Jax paused, his eyes sweeping across the guests. One of them was bragging, talking about how he'd finally locked down this rich girl and how after the wedding he'd have access to her trust fund, her inheritance, how marriage was just a legal way to control someone's money. The church gasped. Maya felt the blood drain from her face. Said he'd been playing the long game. 3 years of being perfect. 3 years of romance and gifts and promises. All to get to this day. Jax's voice hardened. Said once they were married, she wouldn't be able to leave. That he'd make sure of it. That's a lie, Ethan shouted, his face turning red. This is insane. Maya, tell him. Tell everyone this psycho is lying. But Maya couldn't speak. Because suddenly, everything made sense. The way Ethan had insisted on getting married before she turned 28, when her grandmother's trust fund would fully vest. The way he'd isolated her from her friends. Slowly. Carefully. Always, with reasonable-sounding excuses. The way he'd convinced her to add his name to her apartment lease. Oh my God, she whispered. Jax turned back to her, his eyes gentle now. Sad even. I didn't know who this guy was at first. But he kept talking. Mentioned the wedding was today. At this church. Mentioned your name. Said your daddy was dead and there was nobody to protect you. Jax's voice cracked slightly. Well, darlin', your daddy might be gone, but that doesn't mean you're not protected. I couldn't let this happen. I just couldn't. Tears started streaming down Maya's face. She looked at Ethan, really looked at him, and saw a stranger. A mask finally fallen away completely. You son of a bitch, she said quietly. Then louder. You son of a bitch. Ethan's expression twisted into something ugly. You're going to believe this random biker over me? Your fiancé? Maya, think about what you're doing. Everyone is watching. You're making a huge mistake. No, Maya said, her voice stronger now despite the tears. The mistake was almost marrying you. She ripped off her engagement ring and threw it at his feet. The church erupted. People were standing, shouting questions, some trying to come forward. Stepping fully between them with a physicality that made it very clear Ethan wouldn't get past him. Don't, Jax said simply. Don't even try. Ethan's eyes were wild now. You have no idea what you just did. No idea. That money was supposed to be mine. I spent 3 years. He stopped, realizing he'd just confirmed everything. Maya's mother was crying. Jenna had rushed forward and grabbed Maya's hand, pulling her back. The minister had quietly called the police from his cell phone. And Jax just stood there, calm as anything, watching Ethan fall apart. You're insane. Ethan was ranting now, pointing at Maya. You're crazy if you think you'll ever find anyone better than me. You think you're so special? You're nothing without me. You hear me? Nothing. And there it was. The truth Maya had been too afraid to see. The man she'd almost married wasn't just after her money. He was abusive, controlling, dangerous. And if Jax hadn't walked through those church doors, if he hadn't overheard that conversation, if he hadn't taken it upon himself to protect a complete stranger, Maya didn't want to think about where she'd be right now. The police arrived within 10 minutes. Ethan tried to play the victim, tried to say he was being harassed, but too many people had heard his confession. Too many witnesses had seen him lunge at Maya as the officers led him out of the church, still shouting threats and insults. Maya collapsed into a pew, her white dress pooling around her like a deflated cloud. Jack sat down beside her, keeping a respectful distance. "Thank you," Maya whispered. I don't understand why you helped me. You don't even know me." Jax was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was heavy with old pain. "I had a daughter once," he said softly. "Beautiful girl, smart as a whip. But I was young and stupid and angry at the world. I drank too much, fought too much, made her life hell because I couldn't get my own life together." He stared down at his hands. "She left when she turned 18, just vanished one day. Took nothing but a backpack and whatever money she'd saved from her part-time job. I tried to find her, but she didn't want to be found. That was 15 years ago. I don't even know if she's alive." Maya's heart broke for him. "So when I heard that guy in the bar, talking about trapping someone's daughter, controlling her, taking everything from her," Jax looked up, his eyes wet. "I thought about my girl, about how I failed her, and I thought, maybe I can't save my own daughter, but I can damn sure save someone else's." Maya reached over and took his hand. "This stranger, this biker, this angel, in leather and patches. You saved my life," she said. "You know that, right? You saved my life." Jack squeezed her hand gently, like a father would, and for the first time since her dad died, Maya felt like maybe, just maybe, she wasn't alone in this world after all. "Don't worry. This story is just getting started. Want to know what happens next? Comment below and let me know. Should Maya press charges? Will Jax help her rebuild her life? And what really happened to his daughter? Drop a comment telling me where you're reading from and whether you've ever had a moment where a stranger changed your entire life. Okay, so here's what nobody tells you about having your wedding implode in front of 200 people. The aftermath is brutal, not just emotionally, though trust me, that part is rough enough, but practically, logistically, it's a complete nightmare, because suddenly you've got a church full of confused guests, a reception venue with food already being prepared, hotel rooms booked, a honeymoon that's supposed to start in 36 hours, and absolutely no idea what to do with any of it. Maya sat in that church pew for a solid 20 minutes after the police took Ethan away, just staring at the stained glass windows like they might give her some kind of answer. Her mother had rushed over, crying and apologizing, saying she never trusted Ethan fully but didn't want to say anything because Maya seemed so happy. That word kept coming up. Happy. Had she been happy? Or had she just been so desperate not to be alone after her father died that she mistook being wanted for being loved? Jenna, her best friend and maid of honor, sat on Maya's other side, alternating between hugging her and muttering increasingly creative insults about Ethan. The other bridesmaids hovered nearby, unsure whether to stay or go. Most of the guests had already left, whispering amongst themselves, probably already composing the texts and social media posts about the wildest wedding they'd ever witnessed. Maya couldn't even be mad about it. This was wild. Jax had stepped away to give her space, standing near the altar talking quietly with the 3 other bikers who'd shown up. Maya watched him from the corner of her eye. He looked so out of place in this fancy church with its polished wood and delicate flowers. His leather vest, his heavy boots, his weathered face with that gray-streaked beard. But he also looked more solid than anyone else in the room, more real, like he was the only thing keeping gravity working properly. "Sweetie," her mother said gently, stroking Maya's hair the way she used to when Maya was little and sick with the flu. "We need to figure out what to do. The reception. Cancel it," Maya said flatly. "Cancel everything. Are you sure? I mean, all these people came, and the food is all ready." "Mom." Maya looked at her mother directly. "I almost married a man who wanted to trap me, who wanted my money, who God knows what else he wanted to do to me once he had me legally tied to him." Her voice cracked. "I don't care about the food. I don't care about wasting money. I care about the fact that I was 30 seconds away from ruining my entire life." Her mother pulled her into a tight hug. I know, baby. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. Jenna stood up abruptly. I'll handle it. I'll go to the reception venue, tell them what happened, see if we can donate the food to a shelter or something. The hotel rooms, the honeymoon, I'll cancel what I can. She squeezed Maya's shoulder. You just process, okay? Let me handle the logistics. Maya nodded numbly. As Jenna walked away, pulling out her phone and already making calls, Maya realized she was still in her wedding dress. This expensive, custom-fitted, once-in-a-lifetime dress that she'd thought she'd treasure forever. Now it just felt like a costume, like evidence of her own stupidity. She needed to get out of it. I need to change, she said to no one in particular. There's a room in the back, the minister offered kindly. He'd been standing awkwardly to the side this whole time, probably having no idea how to handle this situation in all his years of performing weddings. You can use it for privacy. Maya stood up, her legs shaky, and made her way toward the back room. But halfway there, she stopped and turned toward Jax. He was watching her with those steady, careful eyes. Will you? Maya paused, feeling ridiculous. Will you wait? Please. I need to talk to you. Really talk to you. Jax nodded slowly. I'll be here, darlin'. Take your time. The back room was small and quiet, with a worn couch and a mirror on the wall. Maya's mother had brought her a bag with regular clothes, jeans, a soft sweater, sneakers, practical comfort clothes. As Maya struggled with the dozens of tiny buttons running down the back of the dress, reality started hitting her in waves. She'd been so blind. All those little red flags she'd explained away. The way Ethan had insisted on joint bank accounts to build a life together. The way he'd gotten upset when she wanted to keep working after the wedding instead of being a full-time wife. The way he'd slowly, so slowly, convinced her that her friends were jealous. That her mother was overbearing. That her instincts were just anxiety that needed to be managed. Gaslighting. That's what it was called, right? When someone makes you doubt your own reality, Maya finally got the dress off and stood there in just her underwear, staring at the white fabric pulled on the floor like a ghost. She thought about all the girls who tried on wedding dresses with her, squealing about how beautiful she looked. She thought about the bridal shower, the bachelorette party, the engagement photos. All of it had been built on a lie. She pulled on her jeans and sweater, tied her sneakers, and looked at herself in the mirror. Her makeup was streaked from crying. Her carefully styled hair was falling out of its pins. She looked wrecked, but she also looked awake. For the first time in 3 years. Maybe longer. She looked awake. Maya took a deep breath, steadied herself, and walked back out into the church. Most people had cleared out by now. Just her mom talking with the minister about cleaning up. One of the bridesmaids helping fold up the aisle runner. And Jax, sitting in a back pew, patient as stone. When he saw her, he stood up. You okay? He asked. Maya almost laughed. No, not even close. But I'm alive. Which is more than I might have been if you hadn't shown up. They stood there for a moment, this impossible pair. A broken bride and a biker who'd appointed himself her guardian angel. Can I buy you a coffee? Maya asked. Or a beer? Or whatever you want? I need to understand. Why you did this. Why you cared. Jax considered this, then nodded. There's a diner about 10 minutes from here. Hank's place. You know it? I do, actually. Meet me there in 20? I'll have my guys clear out, give you some space to wrap things up here. Maya agreed, and Jax left with his biker brothers, their motorcycles rumbling to life in the church parking lot like thunder rolling away. Her mother approached carefully. Maya? Sweetie, who is that man? Really? I don't know, Mom, Maya said honestly. But I think he might have saved my life. 20 minutes later, Maya pulled her Honda Civic into the parking lot of Hank's place. It was one of those classic American diners, red vinyl booths, checkered floors, a jukebox in the corner that probably hadn't worked since 1987. Jax was already there, sitting in a corner booth, his leather vest draped over the seat beside him. He looked different without it. Older, maybe. Maya slid into the booth across from him. A waitress came over, older woman, kind eyes, name tag that said, Dolores. She took one look at Maya's tear-streaked face and didn't ask any questions, just poured 2 cups of coffee and said, "Pie's fresh if you want some." "Honey. Chocolate cream," Jax said. 2 slices. When Dolores walked away, Maya wrapped her hands around the warm coffee mug and just exhaled. All the tension, all the fear, all the rage she'd been holding in came pouring out in one long, shaky breath. "So," she said, "you were at Mickey's bar last night." "Yeah." "And you overheard Ethan talking." "Yeah." "And you just decided to show up at my wedding, even though you didn't know me, even though it could have been dangerous or gotten you arrested, or—" Maya shook her head. "Who does that?" Jax took a slow sip of his coffee, gathering his thoughts. When he spoke, his voice was careful, measured. "You know what people see when they look at me?" he asked. "They see the leather, the patches, the Hells Angels logo. They see danger. They cross the street. They lock their car doors." Maya didn't deny it. She'd thought the exact same thing when he'd first walked into the church. "And you know what?" Jax continued. "Sometimes they're right. The club life isn't for everyone. We've got rules, we've got hierarchy, we handle our business our way, but we've also got a code." "A code?" "Protect the innocent. Don't hurt women or kids. Stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves." He looked at her directly. "That guy in the bar wasn't just bragging about taking your money, Maya. He was bragging about trapping you, about controlling you. He used the word handled, like you were a dog that needed training." Maya felt sick. "I've seen what men like that do," Jax said quietly. "I've seen the bruises they hide, the spirits they break, the women who stop being women and start being prisoners in their own lives." His jaw tightened. "I told myself a long time ago that if I ever had the chance to stop that from happening to someone, I would, no matter what." The pie arrived. Neither of them touched it. "Tell me about your daughter," Maya said softly. Jax's whole body seemed to sag. He rubbed a hand over his face, suddenly looking every one of his 50-something years. "Sarah," he said. "Her name is Sarah. God, I don't even know if I should use past or present tense anymore. What happened? I was a different person back then," Jax said. "Young, angry, stupid. Thought the world owed me something. I drank too much, fought too much, yelled too much. Her mother left when Sarah was 6. Can't blame her. I was a nightmare to live with." He stared down at his coffee. "I tried to be a good dad. I really did. But I didn't know how. Didn't have a father myself to model it after. So I was harsh when I should have been gentle. Critical when I should have been supportive. I thought I was making her tough, preparing her for the real world. But really, I was just crushing her." Maya's throat tightened. She started pulling away when she was 15. Stayed at friends' houses more. Spent all her time at school or work. And I told myself that was normal. That teenagers are supposed to separate from their parents. But the truth was, she was escaping me. A tear rolled down Jax's cheek. He didn't wipe it away. "The day she turned 18, I came home from a run with the club and found a note on the kitchen table. Said she loved me but couldn't live with me anymore. Said she needed to find herself. Figure out who she was without my voice in her head telling her she wasn't good enough." "Jax." Maya reached across the table. "I tried everything," he said. filed a missing person report. But she was 18, legally an adult. Hired a private investigator who found nothing. Put out word through the club. Checked every city she'd ever mentioned wanting to visit. It was like she just vanished into thin air. That's why you helped me, Maya realized. Because you saw your daughter in me. Every woman I see is somebody's daughter, Jax said. But yeah, when I heard that guy in the bar talking about trapping you, about taking advantage of the fact that your father was dead and couldn't protect you, I thought about how I failed to protect Sarah, how I was the reason she had to run. And I thought, maybe I can't fix my mistakes, but I can sure as hell keep someone else from making the same ones. Really, they sat in silence for a while, just two broken people in a diner booth, held together by chance and tragedy and something that felt almost like family. I want to help you find her, Maya said suddenly. Jax blinked. What? Your daughter, Sarah. I want to help you find her. Maya's voice grew stronger, more determined. You saved my life today. Let me help you find yours. Maya, it's been 15 years. So what? That doesn't mean you stop trying. That doesn't mean you give up. She leaned forward. I'm good with computers. I work in tech worked, I guess, before Ethan convinced me to quit. But I know how to search databases, how to track digital footprints. If she's out there, if she's used her social security number for anything, left any kind of trail. You don't have to do this, Jax said. But there was hope in his eyes. Desperate, painful hope. I know I don't have to, Maya said. I want to. You gave me my life back. Let me try to give you yours. Jax's hands were shaking. This huge, tough biker with his leather and his patches and his intimidating presence was sitting across from her with tears streaming down his face. Okay, he whispered. Okay. They finally ate their pie. Made plans to meet the next day at Maya's apartment, the one that thankfully she hadn't officially added Ethan's name to yet. Despite his pushing, they exchanged phone numbers, made small talk about motorcycles and coffee preferences, and whether the Mets would ever win another World Series. Normal things, human things. When they finally left the diner, the sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Maya stood next to her car, keys in hand, looking at this man who had become so important to her in just a few hours. Jax? Yeah? Thank you, she said. I know I already said it, but thank you for listening to your instincts, for being brave enough to walk into that church, for protecting me when you had absolutely no reason to. Jax pulled her into a hug. Not romantic, not weird, just fatherly. The kind of hug that says, I've got you and you're safe and you're not alone. You're gonna be okay, kid, he said into her hair. You're stronger than you know. When they pulled apart, Maya smiled. A real smile, the first one she'd felt in months. So are you, she said, as Maya drove home that evening, passing through streets that felt different somehow. She thought about the trajectory of a single day. She'd woken up thinking she was getting married, thought she was starting the rest of her life. In a way, she was, just not the way she'd expected. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jenna. Reception canceled. Food donated to the homeless shelter on 5th Street. Hotel rooms canceled with partial refunds. Well, you've got a non-refundable trip to Hawaii for 2. Might want to take your mom or something. Love you. Call me when you're ready to talk. Maya smiled. Good old Jenna. Always practical. Another text came through. This one from an unknown number. This is Jax. Just wanted to make sure you got home safe. Text me when you're inside. Old habits from having a daughter, I guess. Hope that's not weird. Maya's heart squeezed. She texted back. Not weird at all. Just pulled into my building. I'm safe. See you tomorrow, Dad. She hesitated before hitting send. Was calling him Dad too much? Too familiar? But then she thought about how he'd stood between her and Ethan. how he'd protected her without even knowing her, how he'd given her the strength to walk away, and she pressed send. A moment later, "See you tomorrow, kiddo. Sleep well. You've earned it." Maya walked into her apartment, not hers and Ethan's, just hers, and locked the door behind her. She stripped off her clothes, took the longest shower of her entire life, and crawled into bed wearing her oldest, softest pajamas. And for the first time in 3 years, she slept without that tight knot of anxiety in her chest. Because somewhere out there, a biker named Jax was keeping watch, and tomorrow they were going to find his daughter. What do you think? Can Maya help Jax find Sarah after 15 years? Should she? And what's Ethan going to do now that his plan fell apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you've ever had a friendship form in the most unexpected way. The thing about trauma is that it doesn't just disappear overnight. Maya woke up the next morning, and for exactly 3 beautiful seconds, she forgot everything that happened. Then reality came, crashing back like a freight train. The wedding, Ethan, Jax, all of it flooding her brain at once. She grabbed her phone from the nightstand. 47 missed calls, 63 text messages, 12 voicemails. Most were from friends and relatives asking if she was okay, expressing shock, offering support. A few were from Ethan's friends, angry messages calling her crazy. 3 were from Ethan himself. Maya's hands trembled as she opened the first one. "You made a huge mistake. Call me. We can fix this." The second one, sent 2 hours later. "That biker put ideas in your head." The third one, sent at 4 in the morning. "You're going to regret this. Everything I did for you. Everything I sacrificed. And this is how you repay me? You're going to be sorry." Maya deleted all 3 without responding. Then she blocked his number. She should have felt free. She should have felt relieved. But instead, she just felt tired. Bone deep, soul-crushing tired. Her phone buzzed with a new text. This one from Jax. "Morning. Still on for today? No pressure if you need time. Yesterday was a lot." Maya stared at the message. She could cancel. Could tell him she needed space. Time to process. Time to fall apart properly. That's what most people would do, right? Have a breakdown. Eat ice cream for a week. Let themselves be a mess. But Maya had spent 3 years being what other people expected her to be. Following someone else's script. Making herself smaller and quieter and more convenient. She was done with that. "I'm in," she texted back. "Give me an hour. Coffee first. Then, let's find your daughter." She took a shower, threw on comfortable clothes, leggings, an oversized sweatshirt, her lucky sneakers, tied her hair back in a ponytail. No makeup, no pretense. Just Maya, the real Maya, whoever that was. She made coffee, scrambled some eggs, tried to eat, but could only manage a few bites. Her stomach was still twisted in knots. She kept thinking about Ethan's last message. "You're going to be sorry." Was that a threat? Should she be worried? Her phone rang. Jenna's name flashed on the screen. "Hey," Maya answered. "Oh, thank God," Jenna breathed. "I've been worried sick. I texted you like 10 times last night." "I know. I'm sorry." "Totally understood. How are you?" Stupid question, I know. But how are you really? Maya thought about it. "Honestly, I don't know. It's like I'm in shock. Like it all happened to someone else and I just watched it on TV." "That's normal," Jenna said. "You went through something traumatic. Are you at your apartment? Do you want me to come over?" "Actually, I'm meeting someone, the biker." Silence on the other end. "Jenna? Sorry, Maya, I know he helped you yesterday, and that was amazing. But do you really know this guy? Like, Know him? Hell's Angels aren't exactly. I know, Maya interrupted gently. He saved me. And he's looking for his daughter who ran away 15 years ago. I'm going to help him. Maya, I need to do this, Maya said firmly. I spent 3 years letting someone else make all my decisions. This is my choice. I'm doing this. Another pause. Then Jenna sighed. Okay. But text me every couple hours. Yeah? Just so I know you're safe. I will, I promise. After they hung up, Maya gathered her laptop, charger, and a notebook. She was about to walk out the door when she stopped. In the back, tucked away in a box, was her father's old watch. She'd kept it after he died but never wore it because it hurt too much. Now she pulled it out, clasped it around her wrist even though it was too big, and felt her father's presence like a hand on her shoulder. You've got this, kiddo, she could almost hear him say. Maya grabbed her keys and headed out. Jax lived in a small house on the outskirts of town, near where the city gave way to open highway. It wasn't fancy, just a simple one-story with a detached garage and a yard that had seen better days. But it was clean, well-maintained, the kind of place that showed someone cared, even if they weren't great at decorating. Several motorcycles were parked in the driveway. As Maya pulled up, she saw Jax standing on the porch, with 2 other bikers, both wearing Hell's Angels vests. For a second, Maya's old instincts kicked in. The fear, the assumption, the prejudice. Then Jax smiled and waved, and she remembered. Clothes don't make the person, actions do. Morning, Jax called as she got out of her car. Hope you don't mind, brought some backup. This is Razor and this is Tiny. Tiny was approximately 6'5" and built like a tank. Maya almost laughed. Ironic name? She asked. Tiny grinned. Birth name's Timothy. Tiny's better. Razor was older, probably in his 60s, with a gray beard down to his chest and eyes that had clearly seen everything life had to throw at them. He shook Maya's hand with surprising gentleness. Jax told us what you're trying to do, Razor said. Finding Sarah. That's real kind of you, ma'am. Please, call me Maya. They went inside. The house was exactly what Maya expected. Minimal furniture. Some motorcycle magazines on a coffee table, a few photos on the walls. A young girl, maybe 16, with Jax's same eyes and a smile that could light up a room. That's her, Jax said softly, coming up beside Maya. Sarah. Taken about a year before she left. She was the star pitcher of her high school team. Maya stared at the photo. This wasn't just some abstract missing person. This was a real girl, with a real life and real dreams. A girl who felt so trapped by her father's anger that she'd rather disappear than stay. I'm going to find her, Maya said. She didn't know where the conviction came from, but it was absolute. I promise you, Jax, we're going to find her. They set up at Jax's kitchen table. Maya opened her laptop while Jax pulled out a folder, worn and stuffed with papers. Inside were all his attempts to find Sarah over the years. Private investigator reports. Missing person flyers. Dead-end leads. Okay, Maya said, cracking her knuckles. Let's start with the basics. Full name? Sarah Marie Monroe. Born April 15, 1993. Maya typed rapidly. Social security number? Jax rattled it off from memory. Last known address? Here. She lived here with me until she left. Did she have a car? Credit cards? Bank account? Old Honda Civic. I had it in my name. She never got credit cards. She was only 18. Bank account was one I'd set up for her as a kid. She withdrew everything the day before she left. $3,247. Maya typed everything into a specialized people search database she'd used at her old tech job. The kind that pulled from public records, social media, employment history, address changes, court records. The search loaded, and loaded, and loaded. Maya's heart sank when she saw the result. No matches found. That's impossible, she said. Everyone leaves a digital trail. Everyone. Unless what? Jax leaned forward. Unless she changed her name, Maya said slowly. Or unless she's been living completely off the grid. No bank accounts, no credit cards, no official employment. Just cash, jobs, and staying invisible. Razor whistled low. That's not easy to do in this day and age. It also means she was really trying to stay hidden, Tiny added. The words hit Jax like a physical blow. She was that desperate to get away from me. Hey. Maya reached over and grabbed his hand. That was then. You're not that person anymore. And she doesn't know that because she hasn't seen you. But we're going to find her, and you're going to get the chance to show her who you've become. Jax nodded, but Maya could see the pain in his eyes. Okay, different approach, Maya said, thinking. Anyone she was really close to? People she might have stayed in contact with? There was one girl, Jax said. Emily Chen. They were best friends all through high school. I tried reaching out to her years ago, but she said she hadn't heard from Sarah. People lie, Maya said, especially if they think they're protecting someone. What about hobbies, interests, places she loved? She loved softball. Loved music. Played guitar. Always talked about wanting to see the ocean. We lived here in Kansas her whole life. Landlocked. She used to say someday she'd move somewhere she could see water every day. Maya typed notes. Favorite bands? Favorite books? Anything that might tell us about her. Personality? Her values? Jax thought hard. She loved this one singer. What was her name? Norah Jones. Yeah. Used to play her albums on repeat. And books. She was always reading. Fantasy stuff mostly. Tolkien. Neil Gaiman. Creative soul. Maya murmured. Okay. Long shot. But let me try something. She pulled up social media platforms and started searching. Not for Sarah Monroe, that would be too obvious. But for women aged 33 who liked Norah Jones and Neil Gaiman, who had photos of softball or guitars, who lived in coastal areas. It was a ridiculous long shot. But Maya had nothing else. She scrolled through hundreds of profiles. Her eyes started to blur. Jax paced behind her. Tiny and Razor made sandwiches in the kitchen, trying to keep things normal. Then Maya saw it. A profile. Woman. Early 30s, living in Portland, Oregon. Profile name. S. Winters. The profile picture was of a sunset over the ocean. Maya clicked into it. The account was private, so she couldn't see much. But in the tiny profile photo, Maya could just barely make out a woman's silhouette. And in the background, was that a guitar case? Jax. He rushed over, stared at the screen. I can't see her face, he said, frustrated. Could be anyone. Look at the few public posts, Maya said, scrolling. There was a photo from 3 years ago, a picture of the Portland coast with a caption, "Finally home," and another from 5 years ago. Sometimes you have to leave everything behind to find yourself. Jax's breath caught. That's something Sarah would say, he whispered. That's exactly something she would say. That's exactly something she would say. Well, she would say, or Winters could be a married name, Maya said, or just a name she chose, a new identity. How do we know for sure? Tiny asked, looking over their shoulders. Maya bit her lip. We could send a friend request and a message. But if it is her, and she sees your name, Jax, she might panic, might disappear again. So what do we do? Maya took a breath. Made a decision. Maya took a breath. Made a decision. We go to Portland, she said. We find her in person. If it's not her, it's a wasted trip. But if it is her, she looked at Jax. You get to tell her face to face how sorry you are. How much you've changed. How much you've missed her. Jax looked like he might cry. You'd really do that? Drive all the way to Portland with a guy you just met? You saved my life, Maya said simply. This is the least I can do. Razor cleared his throat. I'm coming too. Road trip could do me some good. Me 3. Tiny added. Someone's gotta make sure you old-timers don't get lost. Jax laughed a real, genuine laugh. The first one Maya had heard from him. Okay, he said. Soon as possible, Maya said. But first. She pulled up her text messages and sent one to Jenna. Going on a road trip to Portland. I'll explain everything later. I'm safe, I promise. Love you. Then she looked at Jax. We leave tomorrow morning. The rest of that day was a blur of preparation. Maya went back to her apartment to pack, trying to figure out what you bring on a cross-country road trip to potentially reunite a father with his long-lost daughter. She was throwing clothes into a duffel bag when someone knocked on her door. Maya froze. She wasn't expecting anyone. Slowly, carefully, she crept to the door and looked through the peephole. Her blood turned to ice. Ethan. He was standing in her hallway, looking disheveled, his hair messy, his eyes red. He knocked again, harder. Maya, I know you're in there. Your car's in the lot. Please, I just want to talk. Every instinct screamed at her not to open that door. Go away, Ethan, she called through the door. We have nothing to talk about. Please, baby. Just 5 minutes. Let me explain. He didn't lie. You did. For 3 years. Maya, come on. His voice was getting louder, more agitated. You can't just throw away what we had. We're supposed to be married right now. We're supposed to be on our honeymoon. And instead you're supposed to be controlling my bank account and making my life hell. Maya shot back. I heard what you said, Ethan. At the altar. You confirmed everything. I was angry. I didn't mean it. People say things when they're angry. Maya pulled out her phone and dialed 911. She didn't press call yet, but she held it ready. Ethan, I'm asking you one more time. Leave. Now. Or I'm calling the police. Silence. Then. You think you're so smart, don't you? Running off with that biker, playing detective. Maya's blood went cold. What? What? I saw your little text to Jenna. Portland, huh? Going on a trip with your new daddy figure? His voice was dripping with venom. That's real cute, Maya. Real cute. But you remember this. You humiliated me. In front of everyone. And there are consequences for that. Are you threatening me? I'm just saying. Accidents happen on the road. Long way to Portland. Lots of lonely highways. Would be a shame if something went wrong. That was it. Maya pressed call. 911. What's your emergency? My ex-fiancé is at my door, refusing to leave and making threats, Maya said, loud enough for Ethan to hear. She heard him curse outside, then footsteps running away. The operator kept Maya on the line until police arrived 10 minutes later. She gave them Ethan's name, showed them the text messages, told them about the threats. They took a report and said they'd do a welfare check on him. But Maya knew it wasn't enough. Ethan wasn't just angry. He was dangerous. She immediately texted Jax, "Need to leave tonight. Not tomorrow." The response was instant. "Pack your stuff. I'll be there in 20 minutes. You're staying with me tonight. We leave at dawn." Maya threw everything she needed into 2 bags, grabbed her laptop, and waited by the window, watching for Jax's truck. When he pulled up, she practically ran to the parking lot. "You okay?" Jax asked, his face tight with concern. I will be once we're out of this city, Maya said. They drove back to his house in silence. Maya kept checking her mirrors, paranoid that Ethan would follow them. But the roads stayed empty. When they got inside, Jax made her tea, showed her the spare bedroom. Get some sleep, he said. We've got a long drive ahead of us. And Maya? 14. Waya? 14. 14. 14. 14. 14. 14. 14. 14. 14. I am Sloop 7, yeah? I'm not gonna let him hurt you. You understand? Whatever it takes. I've got your back. Maya nodded, feeling tears well up. I know. That night, as she lay in the unfamiliar bed in Jax's spare room, Maya thought about how much her life had changed in just 2 days. She'd almost married a monster. She'd been saved by a biker. She was now on a mission to reunite him with his daughter. And somewhere on the highways between Kansas and Oregon, she was going to figure out who Maya Carson really was. Not Ethan's fiancée, not her father's little girl, just. As she finally drifted off to sleep, she heard the rumble of motorcycles in the driveway. Razor and Tiny were pulling in, taking up watch positions, making sure nothing and nobody got to her during the night. For the first time since her father died, Maya felt protected, not controlled. Protected. There was a massive difference. And as sleep finally claimed her, Maya smiled. Tomorrow, they were going to Portland. Tomorrow, they were going to find Sarah. And tomorrow, Maya was going to prove that sometimes the family you choose is stronger than the family you're born into. Even if that chosen family wears leather and rides motorcycles and looks like the last people in the world who would save you, sometimes those are exactly the people who do. Oh man, things are heating up. Ethan's not backing down. They might have found Sarah, and Maya's about to go on the road trip of a lifetime. What do you think is S? Winters, really, Sarah? And what's Ethan planning? Drop your predictions in the comments. Tell me about a time you had to make a brave choice that changed everything. There's something surreal about driving through the night with 3 bikers while your entire life falls apart and rebuilds itself simultaneously. Maya sat in the passenger seat of Jax's pickup truck, watching the Kansas landscape blur past in the darkness. Behind them, Razor and Tiny followed on their motorcycles, headlights cutting through the black like protective spirits. They'd left at 4 in the morning. While the world was still asleep, Jax drove with both hands on the wheel, his jaw set, his eyes focused. Every few minutes he'd glance over at Maya, checking on her without saying anything. She appreciated that. The silence, the lack of pressure to fill every moment with conversation. Her phone buzzed, another text from a blocked number. Enjoy your trip, I'll be seeing you soon. Maya's stomach dropped. She showed it to Jax. His jaw tightened. He's just trying to scare you. And use her. I won't say thing. It's working. We're not letting him anywhere near you, understand? You've got 3 Hell's Angels as bodyguards. He'd have to be suicidal to try anything. Maya wanted to believe him. But she'd seen the look in Ethan's eyes outside her apartment. That wasn't just anger. That was something broken. Something dangerous. She blocked the new number and put her phone on silent. The drive to Portland was supposed to take about 24 hours with stops. They planned to trade off driving, grab food at rest stops, sleep in shifts if they needed to. Maya had never done anything like this before, just picked up and gone. For 3 years, Ethan had made every plan, controlled every schedule. Now she was driving across the country with people she'd known for less than 48 hours. And somehow, it felt more right than anything she'd done in years. They stopped for breakfast in Colorado as the sun came up. A truck stop diner that smelled like coffee and bacon and possibility. Maya ordered pancakes she barely touched. Jax noticed. You need to eat, kiddo, he said gently. Can't run on empty. I know. Maya pushed the food around her plate. What if it's just some random woman and we drove all this way for nothing? Then we drove all this way for nothing, Jax said. But at least we tried. That's more than I've been able to do in 15 years. And besides, he smiled, You needed to get away from that apartment. Away from him. So even if this is a dead end, it's not wasted. Razor and Tiny joined them from the counter, bringing extra coffee. Heard from my buddy in Portland, Razor said, sliding into the booth. Gave him the address from that social media profile. Says it's a legit residential area, nice neighborhood. Lots of young families. That's good, right? Maya asked. Means if it is Sarah, she's doing okay for herself. Built a life. The thought should have been comforting. But Maya saw the flash of pain in Jax's eyes. His daughter had built a whole life without him. 15 years of birthdays, holidays, achievements, struggles. He'd missed all of it. She can have a good life and have you in it, Maya said quietly. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. Jax squeezed her hand. When did you get so wise? About 36 hours ago, when a biker crashed my wedding. They all laughed. Real, genuine laughter that felt like medicine. As they got back on the road, Maya felt her phone buzz again. This time, it was Jenna. Okay, I've been patient, but seriously, where are you and why are you going to Portland with bikers? Call me before I lose my mind. Maya smiled and called her. Finally, Jenna answered immediately. Maya, what is happening? Jenna answered immediately. What is happening? You were supposed to get married. Then you didn't get married because of some biker's warning. And now you're on a road trip to Portland? I feel like I'm living in a movie. Join the club, Maya said. I'm helping Jax find his daughter. She ran away when she was 18 and he hasn't seen her since. We think we found her in Portland. Okay, but shouldn't the police be doing this? Or actual private investigators? They tried. For years. Nothing worked. She doesn't want to be found, Jenna. At least not by traditional methods. Silence on the other end. Then, and you're safe? Like actually safe? Because Ethan has been posting some scary stuff on social media, talking about betrayal and revenge and scary. Wait, what? Maya sat up straighter. What is he posting? Hold on, let me pull it up. Maya heard typing. Okay, so here's one from this morning. Some people think they can destroy your life and just walk away. But in racers risers. But your lifers. But in racers. But in racers. But in racers. But in racers. They forget that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And another one. Long drives can be dangerous, especially when you're not watching the road. Maya, this sounds like threats. Dake, 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 dake. Maya's blood ran cold. She looked at Jax. Ethan's posting threatening stuff online about road trips and revenge. Jax's face went hard. He pulled out his own phone and made a call on speaker. Tiny. Razor. You there? Yeah, brother, Tiny's voice came through, wind noise from his motorcycle in the background. Keep your eyes open. Sounds like Maya's ex might try something. White Lexus. License plate Maya. What's his plate? Maya rattled it off, her heart pounding. Got it, Razor confirmed. We'll watch the rear. Little sister. The nickname made Maya's throat tight. She'd been an only child, always wanted siblings. And now these bikers, these supposed dangerous criminals, were calling her family. Thank you, she whispered. They drove through Colorado, into Utah, the landscape changing from plains to mountains to desert. Maya and Jax talked about everything and nothing. He told her stories about the club, about learning to ride, about the Brotherhood that came with the patch on his back. She told him about her father, about her childhood, about the girl she used to be before Ethan slowly erased her. "You know what I think?" Jack said as they crossed into Idaho. "I think you're finding her again. That girl. The real Maya." Maybe," Maya said. "Or maybe I'm finding a new Maya. Someone who's braver than she used to be." "Trauma can do that," Jack said. "Break you down or build you up. You're choosing the build-up. That takes guts." They stopped for gas in Boise. Maya went inside to use the restroom and grab snacks. When she came back out, she saw Jax and Razor having an intense conversation by the truck. Both looked worried. "What's wrong?" she asked. Jax hesitated. Tiny thinks he spotted a white Lexus about 10 miles back. Could be nothing. Could be coincidence. Or it could be Ethan, Maya finished. "We don't know that for sure." "It's him," Maya said with absolute certainty. "I know it is. He's following us." Razor cracked his knuckles. "Then let's deal with him. Pull over. Have a little conversation. Make sure he understands what happens if he keeps following." "No," Maya said firmly. Both bikers looked at her in surprise. "We don't engage. We don't give him what he wants. We just keep driving, stay alert, and get to Portland. Once we're there, we're in a different state. We can call the police, file a restraining order, whatever we need to do. But right now, we don't let him derail this mission." Jack smiled, proud. "Yes, ma'am." They got back on the road, but now the atmosphere was tense. Maya kept checking the side mirror, looking for that white Lexus. And sure enough, about 30 minutes later, she saw it. 3 cars back, keeping pace with them. "That's him," she said. Jack saw it too. His hands tightened on the wheel. "Razor? Tiny? You see our friend back there? Copy that." Tiny's voice crackled through the phone. "We're on it." Maya watched in the mirror as the 2 motorcycles dropped back, positioning themselves between the truck and the Lexus, creating a barrier. For the next 2 hours, they played this weird game of cat and mouse on the highway. Ethan trying to close the distance, the bikers blocking him. At one point, he tried to pass them on the shoulder, but Razor cut him off so smoothly it looked choreographed. Finally, near the Oregon border, the Lexus pulled off at an exit. "Is he giving up?" Maya asked hopefully. "Maybe," Jack said. "Or maybe he's just trying a different route. We'll keep watching." They didn't see the Lexus again for the rest of the drive, but Maya couldn't shake the feeling that Ethan wasn't done. Not by a long shot. They reached Portland just after sunset the next day. The city was beautiful, green and lush, with the Willamette River cutting through it, mountains visible in the distance. Maya could see why someone would choose to live here. It felt like a place where you could start over, where you could become someone new. They checked into a budget motel on the outskirts of town. Tomorrow, they would find the address from the social media profile. Tomorrow, they might find Sarah. Maya barely slept that night. She kept thinking about Jax's face when he talked about his daughter. The pain, the regret, the desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, he could fix what he'd broken. She understood that feeling now, the desperate need to fix things. The next morning dawned gray and drizzly. Perfect Portland weather. They grabbed coffee and bagels, then piled into the truck and headed to the address Razor had found. It was in a neighborhood called Selwood. Cute houses, tree-lined streets, the kind of place where people walked their dogs and kids rode bikes. They pulled up outside a small craftsman-style home, painted soft blue with white trim. A woman's bicycle leaned against the porch. A wind chime hung near the door. And in the window, Maya could see a guitar case. "That's gotta be it," she whispered. Jax looked terrified. This huge, tough biker who'd faced down who knows what in his life looked absolutely petrified of walking up to that door. "What if she hates me?" he said quietly. "What if she tells me to leave and never come back? Then at least you'll know," Maya said. But Jax, I don't think she will. I think she's been waiting for you to find her. Maybe not consciously, but people don't post things like, sometimes you have to leave everything behind to find yourself. Unless they're processing something. Unless they're hoping someone will understand. Jax took a shaky breath. Will you come with me? To the door? Of course. They walked up the path together. Maya's hand supportive on Jax's arm. Razor and Tiny stayed by the truck, giving them space but ready if needed. Jax raised his hand to knock, then stopped. I don't know what to say, he admitted. After 15 years, what the hell do I say? You say I'm sorry, Maya told him. You say I was wrong. You say I've changed and I miss you, and I understand if you never want to see me again, but I had to try. That's what you say. Jax nodded. Footsteps inside. The door opened, and there she was, Sarah Monroe, or Sarah Winters, as she apparently called herself now. She was beautiful, 33 years old, with Jax's eyes and a strength in her face that spoke of someone who'd survived hard things. She wore jeans and an oversized sweater, her dark hair pulled back in a messy bun. When she saw Jax, every emotion in the world crossed her face. Shock, fear, anger, hope, pain. Dad, she whispered. Jax's voice broke. Hey, baby girl. They stood there, frozen, separated by a doorway and 15 years of hurt. Then Sarah did something Maya didn't expect. She started crying. Not angry crying. Not scared crying. Relieved crying. I thought you'd never find me, Sarah sobbed. I thought you'd given up. Up. Never, Jax said, tears streaming down his own face. I never stopped looking. I never stopped trying. I wanted you to find me, Sarah said, but I was too scared to come back. Too scared you'd still be. That you'd still be him. I'm not, Jax said urgently. I'm not that person anymore, Sarah. I swear to God. I got sober. Joined the club. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but they gave me structure, purpose, taught me how to be a better man, and every single day for 15 years, I've wished I could take back how I treated you. Sarah looked at him for a long moment. Then she looked at Maya. Who's this? This is Maya, Jax said. She's the one who found you. She's the reason I'm standing here. Sarah's eyes widened. You found me? How? Maya smiled. Nora Jones and Neil Gaiman, and a hunch that you'd want to be near the ocean. Sarah actually laughed through her tears. Oh my God. My God. My God. Can we? Jax gestured inside. Can we talk? Please. I understand if you want me to leave. But if you could just give me 10 minutes. Come in, Sarah said, stepping back. Both of you, come in. They spent the next 3 hours in Sarah's cozy living room, talking about everything. Sarah told them about her life, how she'd hitchhiked to Portland, worked odd jobs, eventually put herself through community college and became a music teacher. How she'd changed her last name to Winters because it felt like a fresh start. How she'd wanted to reach out to Jax so many times, but was too scared. Jax told her about his journey. The rock bottom he'd hit after she left. Finding the club. Getting sober. Spending every spare moment trying to find her. And Maya told her story too, about Ethan, about the wedding, about how Jax had saved her life. So you saved his daughter to pay him back for saving you? Sarah asked, wiping her eyes. Something like that, Maya said. But also because everyone deserves a second chance. Your dad's not the man he was when you left. He's better. And he deserves to know the amazing woman his daughter became. Sarah looked at her father, really looked at him, and Maya saw the moment when forgiveness won. I missed you, Dad, Sarah said softly. I missed you too, baby girl. Jack sobbed. So damn much. They hugged. This long, tight, healing hug that seemed to repair 15 years of damage in a single moment. Maya stepped outside to give them privacy, wiping at her own tears. Razor and Tiny were still by the truck. Is that her? Tiny called. That's her, Maya confirmed. Hot damn, Razor grinned. We did it. Maya pulled out her phone to text Jenna with an update. That's when she saw them. 15 missed calls from blocked numbers, and one new text from a number she didn't recognize. Found you. Maya's blood turned to ice. She spun around, and there he was, Ethan, standing across the street next to his white Lexus, staring directly at her. He smiled, a cold, predatory smile. Then he started walking toward her. Razor, Maya shouted. Tiny. Both bikers were moving instantly, putting themselves between Maya and Ethan. Jax burst out of the house, taking in the situation with one glance. Ethan stopped walking but didn't back down. Maya, we need to talk. No, we don't, Maya said, her voice shaking but firm. You humiliated me, Ethan spat. Cost me everything. And you think you can just run away? Start some new life with these thugs. These thugs are better men than you'll ever be. Maya shot back. Ethan's face twisted with rage. He took another step forward. Razor and Tiny moved to intercept. And suddenly, Ethan pulled something from his jacket. A gun. Maya screamed. Everything happened at once. Jax shoved Maya behind him. Tiny and Razor moved to flank Ethan. Sarah called 911 from inside the house. Neighbors started coming out, witnessing the scene. Put the gun down, Jack said calmly, his hands up. You don't want to do this, son. Not with this many witnesses. She ruined my life, Ethan said, his hand shaking, the gun pointed at Jax. 3 years. 3 years I invested in her. And she threw it away over some stranger's lies. They weren't lies, Maya said, stepping out from behind Jax, even though every instinct screamed at her to hide. You were using me. Trapping me. And I know now that if I'd married you, I'd have ended up dead. Or broken. So thank you. Thank you for showing me who you really are. Before it was too late. I loved you, Ethan shouted. No, Maya said firmly. You loved what I could give you. There's a difference. And I finally understand what real love looks like. It looks like someone who protects you without controlling you. Who shows up when you need them, even if they have nothing to gain. She gestured to Jax. That's what love looks like, and you'll never understand it. Sirens wailed in the distance. Getting closer. Ethan's face crumpled. He looked at the gun in his hand, like he was surprised to see it there. Put it down, a calm voice said. Sarah had come outside. She stood on her porch, phone in hand, looking at Ethan with something like pity. I know what it's like to run, she said. To be so angry and hurt that you think violence is the only answer. But it's not. Put the gun down. Get help. Don't throw your life away. Maybe it was hearing it from a stranger. Maybe it was the approaching sirens. Maybe he finally realized how insane this all was. Ethan lowered the gun. Razor moved fast, disarming him before he could change his mind. Seconds later, police cars surrounded the street. Officers took Ethan into custody, charged him with stalking, terroristic threats, and brandishing a weapon. They took statements from everyone. It was over, finally truly over. As they loaded Ethan into the police car, he looked at Maya one last time. She felt nothing, no satisfaction. Just relief. That evening, they all sat in Sarah's living room. Sarah had made dinner, nothing fancy, just spaghetti and garlic bread. But it tasted like home. So what now? Sarah asked, looking at her father. Where do we go from here? Wherever you want, Jack said. I'm not trying to force my way back into your life. But if you're willing, I'd like to try. Maybe start with phone calls, then visits. Take it slow. I'd like that, Sarah said softly. Then she smiled. Maybe you could teach me to ride a motorcycle? Jax's face lit up. Really? Really? I've always been curious. Maya watched them, feeling warmth spread through her chest. They weren't fixed yet, you don't repair 15 years in a day. But they were starting. And sometimes starting is everything. Sarah turned to Maya. What about you? What's next? Maya thought about it. I honestly don't know. I was so focused on getting here, on helping Jax find you, that I didn't think about after. You could stay, Sarah suggested. Portland's pretty great. Fresh start, you know? I already have an apartment in Kansas, a job I need to get back to, a life. Do you, though? Jax asked gently. Or do you have the shell of a life that Ethan built around you? Maybe this is your chance to build something new, something that's actually yours. Maya sat with that. He was right. What was really waiting for her back home? An apartment full of memories she wanted to forget? A job she'd only taken because Ethan had insisted? Friends who'd slowly been cut out of her life? I'll think about it, she said. They talked late into the night, sharing stories and laughter. At one point, Sarah pulled out her guitar and played some Norah Jones. Jax's eyes filled with tears. Tiny and Razor harmonized badly on the chorus, making everyone laugh. It was messy and imperfect and absolutely beautiful. This chosen family. This group of misfits who'd come together because of tragedy and ended up creating something that looked a lot like joy. A week later, Maya stood on a beach in Cannon Beach, watching the waves crash against Haystack Rock. She'd decided to stay in Portland for a while, just to see, to figure out who Maya Carson was when nobody was telling her who to be. Jenna had been supportive. Her mom had been worried but understanding. Jax had helped her find a small apartment, co-signed her lease when landlords were hesitant about someone with no job yet. You're gonna be fine, he'd said. Better than fine. You're gonna be great. Maya got a job at a tech startup, made new friends, started therapy to work through everything with Ethan. Slowly, carefully, she began to rebuild. And every Sunday, she had dinner with Jax and Sarah. Sometimes Razor and Tiny joined them. Sometimes it was just the three of them. But it was consistent, reliable, real. One Sunday, about 3 months after arriving in Portland, Sarah asked Maya a question. Do you think you'll ever get married? Try the whole relationship thing again? Maya thought about it. Maybe. Someday. When I'm ready. But not because I'm scared of being alone. Not because society says I should. Only if I find someone who makes my life better, not smaller. That's wise, Jax said. I learned from the best. Maya smiled at him. Later that evening, as Maya walked back to her car, Jax stopped her. Hey, I've been meaning to give you something. He pulled out a small box. Inside was a delicate silver chain with a pendant, 2 hands clasped together. It was going to be Sarah's, Jax explained. I bought it for her 16th birthday, right before everything fell apart. Never got to give it to her. But I want you to have it. Jax, I can't. You're family now, he interrupted gently. You and Sarah, you're both my daughters. Different circumstances, but same love. You saved me just as much as I saved you. So please, take it. Maya put on the necklace, tears streaming down her face. Thank you. For everything. For being the dad I needed when mine was gone. Thank you for reminding me how to be a dad, Jax said, pulling her into a hug. 6 months after the wedding that never was, Maya stood at that same Cannon Beach. But this time, she wasn't alone. Sarah stood beside her, both of them barefoot in the sand, waves lapping at their feet. You ever regret it? Sarah asked. Walking away from what was supposed to be your perfect life. Maya thought about Ethan. About the girl she'd been who was so desperate for love she almost married a monster. About how close she'd come to losing everything. Then she thought about Jack's teaching her to ride his motorcycle. About the job she loved and the city that felt like home. Not for a second, Maya said. That wasn't my perfect life. This is. Sarah squeezed her hand. Mine too. They stood there as the sun set over the Pacific, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and gold. Two women who'd found each other through broken fathers and second chances. Two women who learned that family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's a biker who crashes your wedding. Sometimes it's the daughter who forgives. Sometimes it's the friends who show up when the world falls apart. And sometimes, just sometimes, the worst day of your life becomes the doorway to the best life you never knew you needed. Maya pulled out her phone and took a selfie. Her and Sarah, with the sunset behind them. She sent it to their family group chat. The one with Jax, Razor, and Tiny. The responses came immediately. My girls, I'm the luckiest dad in the world. Tiny. Beautiful. Also, Razor just burned the barbecue, so y'all better hurry back. Razor. Lies. It's perfectly charred. Maya laughed, pocketing her phone, and as they walked back up the beach, leaving footprints in the sand that the ocean would soon wash away, Maya realized something profound. You can't erase the past. Can't undo the hurt, or the mistakes, or the moments you wish you could take back. But you can choose what comes next. You can choose to be brave, to trust your instincts, to accept help from unexpected places, to build a new family when your old one falls apart, to start over as many times as it takes until you get it right. And Maya Carson, she was just getting started. If this story touched you, if you believe in second chances and unexpected heroes and the power of showing up for strangers who become family, drop a comment below. Tell me, have you ever had someone save you when you least expected it? Have you ever been that person for someone else? Where are you watching from? And what part of this story hit you the hardest? And remember, sometimes the people who look the most dangerous are actually the ones who will protect you the most fiercely. Like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, trust your instincts. They might just save your life.